it's nice. I'm just saying.
Yes, right, so I'll have it.
I'll just give you what do you think? Now, if you've got billing in paper, you'll know where they need to go. Yeah. How are we doing? Yeah, two more. Yeah. Should we lie down? Yes, one of you lie down, please, and the other one in this front. Sorry. Thank you.
Don't worry about your jewels.
Don't worry. So how are we doing? Yeah, we can manage it the next one round. Yeah. Okay. Lie down. We're doing the bottom one.
We start with the Sue.
Yes.
Starting with the back.
No, we're only doing the one on the front. Yeah,
Six.
So spray the stones with the spray before.
No, we said sorry.
Have they been sprayed already?
So for those of you who are waiting, we're doing the second one that's on the right, only these 6 stones. Really good example going on here.
And if you just check the diagram, that should be
You've done it before, haven't you?
First time, eh? Okay, so is everybody ready? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Okay, so we're going to give you about 2-3 minutes, and then we're going to do the gong, and then we swap over. Yeah, if you are feeling any discomfort, just tell yourself in your head it's only going to be for 2 minutes. If it's really, really bad, then just roll over and let the stone roll off. Yes, by all means.
Do you ever do both at the same time, so lie on some and do...
No, but what you would usually do is one after the other. Normally in the order they are there, but sometimes your intuition will tell you to do the other way around. Yeah.
It's that really simple thing about doing your roundworks.
Well, we have a technique that we teach our system to tap myself here.
So over.
And what that does is
Give yourself a little bit of time to take the hands off and just, the person who's lying down, just don't jump up. Just take your time to get up slowly.
and just leave the crystals by the mat, that's fine. Come back to your seat.
So before we have a bit of feedback, I just wanted to give you an analogy which is quite useful to remember. When we're working to remove stresses and disease and illness off people, it's important, whenever possible, to not do it in a way that creates more turbulence in their life. Now that turbulence can sometimes be called healing crises, but really it's just sloppy working, really. You will always get some release of stress going on, because that's the nature of the work. But we don't want to make other people's lives or our own lives more difficult by having more to deal with. Because the situation is that we have written our stories from birth. We've written how we cope with things and how we don't cope with things. You know, I've had a hump on my back for 50 years. If you take that hump off, who is that person now? And how will they balance? It's that we go through life on a tightrope walker. We have things on our back and we have weights on the end of the pole. Take those weights off too quickly, then the whole system crashes and we fall. Because we're not used to working in that situation. It's to do with maintaining as much of an equilibrium as we can. So what we're doing with the way that we're working here is we're allowing the body to release the stresses that it is able and willing to let go of at any one time. We're not insisting that the body needs to get rid of this or that stress or this or that. We're just giving an opportunity by putting the stones on and around them to let go of the stuff that is safe, that body to let go of at the time.
That's why you need an intention when you're doing this, because the body will automatically, when it's given the free choice, just let go of what it needs to let go of, and that it feels is okay.
You notice that it happens all the time in therapy. When somebody has a lot of work done on them, and they're not ready to go on in that new state, they will just take that stuff back. They'll either take on the same symptom pictures, the same life behaviour, or they'll take on something new, because they're not used to working in that way. That's how we are. We're creatures of habit. That's what we are. We don't like change. So what you've got to do is, because change is uncertainty, so what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that on every level we're as comfortable as possible in every state that we're in, so we're able to maintain that increased harmony. It's no good dumping somebody in a group of enlightened beings tea party when they're not enlightened, because it'll just feel horrible. You know, that's the nature of existence. So we can't judge people by what they like and what they don't like, or what they can do or what they can't do, because we're all balancing things in different ways. We've all got the same stuff going on, but different proportions. So it's important when we do work on people and work on ourselves, we don't rush to do it all at once. We take time to small regular
Yeah,
sessions.
and it's one of the reasons that those first four we've given you on the inside of the leaflet there, is that's why they make such a good foursome, is because they shift the energies out, and then the energies are settled down by the canal-ilian net and the earth net. That's why they make quite a good foursome, and they make a very good personal therapy session for yourself, and also something you might want to bring in if you're working on other people.
This is why you can't judge the efficacy of a session by the experience of the person, because what is being released and what is being experienced will vary from session to session, and it all depends what the body is able to release at any one time, and that can be comfortable. That's as much as you can.
And just to say, the last two on the back are ones that to do with when you have moved in a fair bit of clutter. They're ones that you can then use to move yourself forward a bit. If you do them too early, it won't do any harm, but they really make a difference once your energies, once you are a bit more you, they will make a difference in actually moving you forward. So there's a lot to do with accessing your full potential and accessing the finer levels of the heart chakra. Okay, so that's what the two on the back are. Somebody asked us, do you have to have coloured cloths? No, I mean, we put them down here mainly because we didn't know whether there was going to be carpet or whatever, and we thought, well, we're not going to have people lie on the floor. Well, but I mean, we always suggest there are colours where they will work better. Dragon points, it doesn't matter. But some of the other layouts, the colours they are other colours they work better on. So if you are into just adding a bit more colour into things, then you can get cloths of those colours to put people on. But if not, you know, a white or a therapist sheet, whatever, that's fine. Okay.
So any
Right.
experiences or
And
questions?
anybody hate what they did? No? Blimey, that's good. Yeah.
About what you said about
Sorry.
it allows it to, let's say, stream away, but you have this balance.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, the image I got was an arc, which I've seen before, so I was like, get it on. And then it came out with this, just a tune of like Wi-Fi, it needed these two signposts, one either side, before it took off.
Yeah.
Do you know, and now I can see, yeah, because you can release stuff on great levels, but if there's not that balance there, then you can invite it back.
That's
Is that
right.
what you mean?
Yeah.
I use the word invite, but
Yeah,
why
you do.
can you back?
It is, but yeah, but some people will take offence to that, but it is.
Habit is it's addiction. So you know, if you take somebody what somebody's used to away,
Yeah.
then they'll breathe for it and go and get it.
Yeah.
Because when they get it back, they feel whole again.
That's
But
me.
But the trouble is the wholeness that they
So
want is
it's-
actually a false
Could it be
wholeness.
like the analogy of a person drinking dirty water all their life? So you give them a clean glass of water and they won't drink it.
Doesn't taste
That
like
sort of
water.
thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's better to have the old dirty water back because you're used to.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. But you know,
I know it's
Yeah.
not. Do you know what I mean? Because I've seen it.
Yeah.
No, hang on. I was going to say I've done it myself.
so it's like my dad. He wouldn't drink water. You know, whiskey
Oh,
is better.
I completely agree. Sapphire.
I don't drink that horrible stuff. It's got no taste.
No,
But you know,
Sapphire is better. Sapphire gin.
so any other experience or thing you want to say?
Anything I want to say?
We sometimes overheard, it's probably the similar thing as what you're talking about, where they don't want to be used.
Oh yeah, I think that's sometimes the biggest thing that a therapist has to deal with is coming across people. And usually you have to come across some different people a few times before you twig. They've actually got so much invested in where they are, they actually don't want to be healed. But they're coming to you because at least they can turn around and say, well, of course I'm doing something. I'm going for healing. You know, and it is, I mean, when I was working as a therapist, which I did for about 12 years, I actually had a couple of clients I actually had to turn around and say, look, this is not getting us anywhere. It might be lining my bank balance a little bit, but, you know, and actually, I'm not the therapist you need to see anymore. Because I realised that actually that I was complicit in their illness.
That's happened to me quite a
You
few
know,
times.
and I think it's something. It's a very hard thing to realise that because you go into wanting to be a therapist, oh, you everybody, yeah, this is great, this is great, this is great. But it's like the reality is that you realise that people are people. And I think it's, when it sinks in that actually you can't fix, and well, you're not really fixing anyway, they're fixing themselves, but they actually don't want to. It does put you in a situation where you probably actually need to have a think and then actually take some action.
It's very simple to know that, because if you give simple exercises that will take 2 minutes to do a day to do, and they don't do it ever, then there's something going on. Because there's nobody, you can't find 2 minutes a day to do something for their own benefit.
It's like if you give them a rainbow selection of stones and say, you put them on in this order, 2 minutes every day or 2 minutes every other day, and when they come back next to you, say, well, how did you get on? And they think they didn't do it, you think yourself.
But I mean, it is right to say to them, you're probably best finding somebody else.
Yeah, you just have to go about how you say it carefully. But in the end, it does actually mean that you are being part of their illness. And so it's actually not where you want to be from a karmic point of view and from a therapist point of view.
There's a tendency for most people to want to hold on to stuff. But when somebody is belligerent about it, that's when it becomes a problem. Most people are ambivalent. They want to feel happier or be better, but also they're used to that. So it depends on that balance. If they want to be a bit more happy and a bit more well than they want to stay as they are, then you can be moving forward by doing simple stuff, because gradually their happiness and their well-being will increase. But if that balance isn't there, or their investment with who they are is not to do with their happiness and the wellness, but to do with the being a victim, then that's when
That's
the
what
problem
people
is.
like, being a victim.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because your kids...
Well, everybody likes being the victim, because the victim isn't responsible.
Right.
Everybody manoeuvres into a state where they are the one being done onto, because then it's not my fault.
Yeah, that's a topic for another workshop.
So has anybody else got it?
Yeah.
Just an observation, it's if you go to the hotel reception, there'll be a first aid kit. And the first aid kit has stuff that is really, really useful in emergencies. The techniques that you were shown today and on that leaflet are stuff that would be in a first aid kit because it's really, really useful. And so I've found with these techniques and a few others that Sue and Simon has is that they come up so many times because they're so effective and so useful. So having this in your toolkit and knowing about them, it's like, what do I do? Oh, there's that one. They'll come up time and time and time again because they're appropriate for the situations that you'll encounter with most people.
It's lunchtime.
Anybody got anything else they want to burn in there, want to say? Yeah. Yes, a couple we can take, because nobody else will be on time anyway.
Yes.
When you put the backs of the heels, how are you doing that?
With a bit of micropole.
That makes sense.
Unless you've got socks on.
Unless you've got socks, you've got turn-ups, in which case you can stuff. When I do it on myself, I put socks on and I stuff them in the tops of my socks.
I've made an elixir out of the one stone.
Yeah.
It's a tissue paper.
Yeah, that's right.
And that really does stick
Yeah.
on.
That's why we say on there, if you don't have the stones, you're using gem essences,
Yeah.
and you do it. But yeah, stuff them in your socks.
So you,
Because they do massage as well, so it wouldn't be too much as well as the massage?
No.
And would you do it before the massage or?
yeah, I'd do it before.
I would do.
Yeah, I think
I would certainly if you know that they've got hooks in dragon points before, but maybe the others, if you want to do the others afterwards. But if you definitely think that part of their problem is their energy is really compromised, then use the dragon points.
Carnelian and the Earth Net are very good for integrating energies. So you can do those after some sort of healing session, integrate what else you've done. But with the dragon points, if you clear that stuff out first, you probably get a deeper response.
And also the person can be more relaxed because you're actually dealing with them, like we say, and not all the rest of the stuff that they've necessarily brought in, especially if they're in a very difficult situation.
Important not to bring up the concept of intrusions or hooks or whatever you want to call them, if people are not used to that sort of thing.
We
because
just
it
say,
freak people out,
we
so-
just say unwanted.
Yeah, just
stuff.
clearing. We're just doing a hoover.
Yeah.
Internal hoover, external
This dragon one, sorry, I didn't put my hand on
Yeah.
it. It's brilliant when you're working with someone, or not anything, just talking to someone, like Josie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used it with
Yeah.
some stuff that came up about 3 weeks ago, you probably know.
Yeah.
You know, and amazing.
Yeah, they're very useful sets of points.
It deepened the level of conversation, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, because you're taking away the peripheries that aren't actually that person. So like I said, when they've got their beliefs going around in their heads, it's like, and they're not theirs.
Well, the thing is, it's listening to somebody else's music, isn't it, on headphones? You've got somebody else's music going on. You don't really like it, but you've maybe got used to it, but you can't hear whatever's
Yeah.
going on, really.
And what they do is they just cut it away.
So it's on a past line, photo and-
Oh yeah, it does all sorts of things, yeah. And it's like, and sometimes, you know, you can, there are a whole set of other nets that we've got for specifically for shifting on the stuff.
So
But
it's more
even
in the book.
the etheric, the carnelian net will move stuff from past lives. Yeah,
The more in the book on the meridians.
yeah,
Yeah.
Can I just ask a quick question? I mean, I've used quite a few of the different nets, but I also design
yeah.
which I know is, you know,
Oh, yeah,
do
yeah.
it. But when I'm using your ones from the book, I always feel a little bit guilty because I feel as if I'm plagiarising your ideas.
No,
But you're happy for us to use them because they're tried and tested.
Yeah, I mean, that it's there. I mean, the stuff we develop, basically they are therapist tools,
Yeah.
but they're also self-help tools as well.
I don't know why. I've always
No,
felt
but
a bit-
they're there to,
You need
they're
to do
there
some
to
work
be
on
used.
that.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah.
Tell you what, come and spend all your money with us.
Okay, well, any other questions then do catch us after lunch.
No, buy one for 7 stone, you've got to have hundreds.
Yeah. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.